also like that we get to be the detective and the lawyer aide. You know what I mean? Doing the detective work, it's not as fun as the courtroom parts, but it makes the courtroom parts that much more satisfying because the evidence you found it, you know? That's what makes presenting it so nice. So, what do you think, Mr. Wright? I think the prosecution is as confused as we are. After all, the victim was murdered in 2 different places at the same time, and a different suspect was arrested at the other crime scene. Lana! Good morning, Mr. Wright. I apologize for yesterday. I was indisposed. I hope they didn't hold you too long for questioning. We just finished, actually. I'm used to all-nighters, though. So, how'd it go? It's as Mr. Wright suspects. The police are clueless. I figured as much, so I struck a plea bargain. A plea bargain? What do you mean by that? We agree that if I told them the truth behind this simultaneous murder, then they wouldn't seek capital punishment. That's what I mean, Emma. But Lana, don't tell me you... Much to my regrets, I'm as much in the dark about this as they are. Miss Sky. We discovered traces left by a certain person in the police department's evidence room. They belong to Officer Jake Marshall. You found Officer Marshall's traces? Blood-stained fingerprints, to be exact. That's the trump card I have up my sleeve today. You do understand what this means, don't you? In order to defend my sister, you're going to accuse Mr. Marshall? We have to play the cards we're dealt. Isn't that right, Miss Sky? Do what you have to do, Mr. Wright. February 24th, 10 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 9. Bang!
All right, the court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Sky.
The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is...
I'm afraid you'll have to clarify, Edgeworth.
It takes 30 minutes by car to reach criminal affairs from the prosecutor's office. The victim, Bruce Goodman, was slain at both places at the same time.
But that's not physically possible, is it? What's more, I hear the victim from the evidence room just disappeared.
Yep, and the body eventually reappeared in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. Wow, this is one messed up trial. One of my duties as prosecutor is to present impartial evidence. Today, I will present evidence relating to the murder at the police department. In doing so, I believe the way in which we should proceed will reveal itself. Now that's what sets Mr. Edgeworth apart. He sounds like he's on top of things, even though he doesn't know what he's going into himself. And that's supposed to be an admirable trait?
Very well. Let the trial resume. On the day of the crime, what exactly transpired at the police department? Mr. Edgeworth, you may call your first witness of the day to the stand.
For its first witness, the prosecution calls the suspect of the murder that occurred at the police department.
The suspect? You mean the so-called murderer?
Rabble, 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 rabble. Oh boy. Things are getting wild from the get-go. All right. Woo, this is going to be a mess. This is going to be a hot mess. Okay. Will the witness please state his name and occupation? Yes, sir. I'm Officer Mike Meekins, sir. My occupation is, that would be murder, sir. Oh, God.
So you're telling us that you're a professional killer?
Sir, it was me, sir. I'm the one who did it. I'll never kill anyone again, sir. You've got to believe me, sir.
Actually, what we'd like to hear from you...
Sir! I'm what you would call part of the younger generation, sir. A person whose actions adults can't possibly understand.
Please, Mr. Edgeworth, help me, sir.
Officer Meekins.
Oh, yes, sir.
Give us your report of the crime. Consider that an order. Yes, sir. As you wish. After all, I am part of a generation that must be told what to do, sir. Can't fault him for a lack of enthusiasm. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Although it's not my normal duty, I was assigned to guard the evidence room that day. I spotted a suspicious man on the security screen and rushed into the room. I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir. I was suddenly attacked. I fought for my life. Then I did it. After that, I passed out, sir, until another officer smacked me awake.
So the victim, Detective Goodman, attacked you?
Do unto others before they do unto you.
That's the Meekins family motto, sir.
I see. Then you fainted. And a colleague helped you regain consciousness?
Yes, sir. He knocked me upside the head, sir.
Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination.
What I need here is more info to work with.
Crime report, sir.
Although it is not my normal duty, I was assigned to guard the evidence room that day. He's not saying anything contradictory, that's for sure. Mr. Meekins, you work in the General Affairs Department, do you not? Yes, sir. I'm in charge of hiring new recruits, sir. Yikes. Now there's a scary thought. Evidence transferal was taking place on the day of the crime, yes? Which meant many officers were giving special tasks not ordinarily performed. I was in charge of guarding the Blue Badger, sir. The Blue Badger? Yes, sir, the lovely police mascot created by head detective, sir. It was to ensure it wasn't broken during the transferal process. That was my sole mission of the day, sir. Wait, I thought he had to guard the room. Oh my god, it's because it was in the room. That's why he was there.
Sounds like a very important mission.
After the award ceremony finished that day, there were so many people running around. I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room.
I see. So that's why you went to the evidence room.
Tell us, what did you see when you got there? Man, this guy's a goldmine of information. I spotted a suspicious man on the security screen and rushed into the room. In order to enter the evidence room, you need an ID card, am I correct? Precisely, sir. I have one right here around my neck. So then, your ID number should be listed in here, right? There it is! I found it! It's the one right here.
Could you please read us the number?
Yes, sir. It's 4989596. That's my number, sir. I see. Wait, but the number here is shown being used twice. Please explain, witness. It's no real mystery, sir. The first time is when I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room, but the second time is when I went to get him after everything settled down.
I see. So it was during that second time when...
Yes, sir. That's when I was spotted the man who on the security screen. All right. Who's the only person we're missing from this record? We're only missing one from the record now. The one that's at 420, that's just 777777777. The mysterious culprit of 420. If only we could get up. The stakes are so high on this one, guys. The stakes are just so high for... I was the only one... I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir. I was suddenly attacked. So you were attacked. Can you please tell us exactly what happened to you? Whoa, it was a knife, sir, a knife!
Detective Goodman pulled a knife on you? What happened then?
Well, with me charging in on him like that, he looked like he was as surprised as I was. You aren't exactly the kind of person someone would want to run into. And that's when I reacted, sir. I swung my arms like an octopus, struggling to detain him. And that's how I got this gash on my hand. Maybe if you'd just kept your cool, your hand wouldn't be... Well, when I saw blood trickling down my arm, I panicked. I grabbed the man by his collar. I fought for my life, and then I did it. What? You murdered him? I know I don't look like the type, but I'm really into kung fu films, sir. The man let his guard down for just an instant, so I snatched the knife from him. You took his knife? I spun him around and performed a disarming maneuver. I made sure to close my eyes like a man. See. The next thing I knew, his white coat was drenched in a sea of my blood, and then, well, the next thing I knew was...
Yes?
He punched me right in the face, sir! That whippersnapper. After that, I passed out until another officer smacked me awake. Anything else here? About what time did you regain consciousness? No offense, sir, but how am I supposed to know that? I was unconscious. Oh, right. According to the report from the officer that woke up the witness, it was about 5:30. Oh, he hit me right in the head, too. I woke up crying tears of pain.
That's nice. I mean, it's nice that you recovered, that is.
When I came around, though, I made sure to finish my mission, sir. Your mission? Yes, sir, the Blue Badger, sir. I returned him to the entrance before things got out of hand. Well, we can all rest easy now. I believe we now have a fairly accurate picture of what happened. Yes, Your Honor. Only one thing remains unclear. Was the man this officer murdered really the victim? He's got a point.
Yes, Officer Meekins?
With regard to that, sir, take a look at this. It was sent to my cell. Chief Gant delivered it to me just this morning, sir. The chief delivered it?
What is that? A videotape?
Yes, sir. That is absolutely right, sir. It's a videotape, sir. And it contains footage from the security camera in the evidence room.
Well, that's quite a mistake.
I just do what I'm told, sir. It's the only thing I'm good at, really. Oh, looks like communication with the police department is as good as ever.
Well then, let's have a look. Show us the video of you murdering the victim.
Oh, please stop using that word, murder, sir. It scares me. Video of a real murder. Just what are we getting ourselves into? Oh, man. That's someone. I thought, oh, that's something fell there. That stupid friggin' blue badger dancing around. Aw, man. Causing all that hootenanny. Oh, man. So that tremendous amount of the blood on the floor must have been his. Where'd he go? Where is he?
Well, I believe we're all thinking the same thing. How can we deal with these unsettling feelings stirred within us?
What the hell was that wiggling piece of plywood? Well, sir, that's the pride and joy of the entire criminal affairs department, sir. It's the Blue Badger, sir. Why am I not surprised this isn't going smoothly? Oh, good.
Yes, well, anyway, the tape seems to prove that the witness did indeed encounter someone in the evidence room, and some sort of activity did take place.
Your Honor, instead of relying on clearly incomplete footage, the witness's testimony will suffice. Is that all right with you, Officer Meekins? Well, yes, sir, as you wish, sir. His face can't be clearly seen in the video, but there's no questioning that the other person was Detective Goodman, sir. I mean, he opened the locker, which requires Detective Goodman's fingerprint to do. The locker he opened is unquestionably Detective Goodman's locker, sir. So it must be him. No one else could have unlocked it. I wonder, what's this about a fingerprint? Each detective has been given a locker equipped with fingerprint-activated locks. These locks ensure that each locker can only be opened by the detective it belongs to. Intriguing.
Well, that would mean the victim at the crime scene would have to have been Detective Goodman. Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination.
I don't know where this cross-examination is going to lead me, but everything begins with contradictions, and that's where I have to start. All right. His face can't be clearly seen in the video. Yeah, but you saw it. Were you able to get a good look at him? At the face of the man who attacked you with a knife? Sir, if you must label people as having seen or not seen the man's face, I believe I would be classified as the latter. The latter? But you were standing right in front of him, were you not?
More to the point, you are the person who fought with him, aren't you?
Oh, yes, sir, but, well, I didn't get a clear look at his face, sir. I'm not the kind of guy who looks directly at people when talking.
He's even looking away right now. Oh, man. Yeah, that's a good trait for a police officer. Still, I'm sure it was him. I bet my badge on it, sir. But there's no question that the other person was Detective Goodman, sir. But you don't know that for sure, do you? You never actually saw Detective Goodman's face.
Well, I suppose you might say that. That is, if you must label people as having seen or not seen it.
Since his face can't be identified in the video, only you can verify it.
Why is everyone looking at me? If I had to label your stares as disturbing or...
Oh my god, Meekins!
Ah!
Having been shown a questionable video at best, we are not in the best of moods. Now please, be more certain with your testimony.
Yes, sir.
You claimed the man who brandished a knife on you was Bruce Goodman. Tell us why you are positive it was him.
Well, I mean, you know, he opened the locker, which required Detective Goodman's fingerprints to do so.
About these lockers, is there no other way to open them?
No, sir. I myself have tried all kinds of methods in the past. They only respond to the registered fingerprint, sir.
I wonder what kind of methods he's tried. If the man opened the locker,
If the man opened the locker's lock, which only responds to its registered fingerprints, then he must be the person the locker was assigned to.
Exactly my point, sir. And this, too. The locker he opened is unquestionably Detective Goodman's locker, sir. I mean, how do you know that information?
Well, I've heard rumors, sir. From people in the know, sir.
People in the know?
The workers in the department cafeteria, sir, they keep me informed.
They also listen to my romantic troubles, sir. For the record, the opened locker did indeed belong to Detective Goodman. I verified this information through a more reliable source.
Yes. So the victim opened the locker with his own fingerprint.
So it must be him. No one else could have unlocked it.
No one else? However, the most important detail is not shown. The most important detail is not shown in this video. The man's face.
Sir! May I say something, sir?
Please do. After all, you are the one being examined.
I don't understand why the man's face is so important in this case, sir. I mean, it was his hand that opened the fingerprint lock, and it was his hand that tried to thrust his knife into my body. My unsettled state can testify enough to this, sir.
Yes, you do have a point. The footage doesn't lie.
That is. Unless the defense can find a problem with it. Mr. Wright, let's check the court record again. Yeah, let's. Is there a problem with the security video? Can I rewatch it? Yeah, I can. The light is on. No one else's thing is already on. Is it already open? Did the light on? And something slipped out. Yeah. Something is off. Something is off. There is a problem. Regarding the video contained on this tape, there is one thing in particular that seems rather strange.
Strange?
This contradiction leads to the possibility that, well, This man may not be Detective Goodman.
What? The video contains such a contradiction?
Interesting. Your Honor, I have a proposal.
Why, yes, Mr. Edgeworth.
I propose we have the defense point to us this alleged contradiction in the video. You would want me to point it out? Very well. Proposal accepted. Let us further inspect this piece of evidence. I will now play the security tape. Mr. Wright, please show us the contradiction you speak of. Oh, that's gonna be easy. Can I pause the video? Oh, fast forward, rewind, and pause. Okay, good. Please don't play it too many times. I can't stand watching the video. How did this guy ever become a police officer?
Well, now then, Mr. Wright, please enlighten us. Where is the contradiction that indicates the man may not be Detective Goodman?
Will this work? I feel like just the lamp. I want to do the paper, but it's not the paper. Oh, backwards. Present. The thing that's strange about this video, Your Honor, has got to be this. Officer Meekins. Sir, do you mean me, sir? As I understand it, the locker apparatus works like this. When you grab the handle, a sensor reads your fingerprint. If the prints match, the registered data, the light turns on and the lock is released. According to my very limited experience, that's the way I understand it, sir. So, then something is seriously wrong with this video. Taking so long, oh my god. When the victim reaches for the handle to open the lock, let's rewind it to a little earlier. Yeah, sure, yeah, no, I haven't already figured this out. Keep going. Aha! Notice the light? What's this?
It's already lit.
Ah, it's lit, dude.
Precisely my
point, Your Honor. The locker was already open before the victim even grabbed the handle! I love how he makes a chicken noise when he gets upset or chokes himself.
Order, what is the meaning of this?
Well, it's very simple, Your Honor. The locker wasn't locked on the day of the crime. But the locker locks are controlled by an electronic system. When a door is shut, a sensor is triggered, and the locker is automatically locked.
Oh, I know. It must have broken down. Of course, I'm not an expert in this.
That's not likely, Your Honor. The sensor would detect and report any malfunction.
Oh, well. It just goes to show that novices should keep their mouths shut. So then, Mr. Wright, do you have an explanation?
Me, Your Honor?
Yes, why wasn't the locker locked?
Yeah, well, you see, this isn't exactly my field. What do you think, Miss Scientific Investigator? Huh? Oh, maybe something like jam the electronic system? Something jammed the sensor? There's something else that seems to be out of place in this video. Okay, it's the falling piece of paper. Yeah.
Very well, let's inspect the video once more. The locker wasn't locked, Mr. Wright. Please point out the cause for this.
Take that! Please watch closely. This is a continuation of the part I showed you earlier. Yeah. What's this? Something white fell out of the locker. But sir, it's been my experience that things fall out when doors are opened. I often fall out and roll great distances when I open my car door, sir. We can't be sure that the item in the locker, or that the item was in the locker to begin with.
What do you mean?
The sensor triggers the lock when the door is shut. What if something was inserted, say, between the sensor and the door?
Inserted?
Yeah. 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 Ooh, there it is. The white thing wasn't inside the locker. It was stuck between the door and the sensor. Oh, I understand now, sir. It's just like my tie. 2 out of 3 times it gets stuck in the door when I get out of my patrol vehicle, sir. Instead of the door closing,
But the object would have to be extremely thin to fit in that door.
And not only that, but it would have to block electrical currents. It would need to be an insulator.
Yes, an insulator, but at the crime scene,
There just might have been something that fits the description. But, sir, by insulator, you don't mean I think I finally got this figured out. Very well.
will the defense please present the relevant evidence? What was the insulator that stuck inside the locker door?
Only thing I can think of. I found this near the locker, sir. A thin rubber glove.
But we can't be sure that this was in the victim's locker.
It has a tag that says SL9 incident, sir. The video seems to depict the victim opening the locker, but that isn't the case. The lit lamp attests to this. On the day of the crime, even I could have opened that locker. Is it not so, Officer Meekins? Sir, it would appear so, sir.
Order in my courtroom. So are we to believe then that the victim, whom this witness stabbed in the evidence room, was not Detective Goodman?
Do not be misled, Your Honor.
What do you mean, Edgeworth?
The defense has merely demonstrated the possibility and nothing more. The victim in the video was indeed Bruce Goodman. The prosecution will offer one more testimony to prove this. Nani? Officer Meekins, please testify about this. Sir? Me, sir? Not sure what you're referring to, sir. Oh, you mean that, sir? Of course, sir. Is this a joke?
Very well. Begin your testimony.
Oh, there's one other thing that proves the man was Detective Goodman, sir. To enter the evidence room, one must use their ID card. When an ID card is used, there's a record of it. At the time of the crime, the detective used his card.
An ID card record. See.
I have the ID card record right here, Your Honor. The ID used at 5:14 is that of the victim. Just before the crime. Oh,
Just before the crime, huh? Yes, without a doubt, this is the victim's ID. However, one thing does strike me as unusual. Several hundred cases should be due for transferal. Why were there so few people using this room?
this particular evidence room is only used for storing specific cases. Special cases? Extremely violent cases involving police staff. Just hearing that makes my hair stand on end. Me too, although it doesn't make much of a difference. There were only a few cases up for transferal there, and most were cleared up by noon.
Right, I see. Now let us move on to the cross-examination.
Okay. Is that card hanging from your neck one of these ID cards? Yes, sir. The card right next to my cuff, sir. I keep it here so I won't ever forget it, sir. But what if someone were to steal it from you, keeping it out in the open like that? Maybe I should wear it around my neck. Remember when I said 2 out of 3 times my tie gets stuck in my car door? Get out? Well, the remaining time, My ID card gets stuck. Instead of the door closing, my ID card chokes me. Maybe I should just leave this one alone. At any rate, each police officer only has one ID card. Both the police department and the prosecutor's office can attest to this.
Please proceed with your testimony.
When an ID card is used, there's a record of it. Let it be noted that this record, that this is the record the witness is referring to.
Let me see. Yes, that would be it. Detective Goodman.
What?
According to this, Mr. Edgeworth, your name is on here.
Ah, yes, so it is, Your Honor. Not that prosecutor again.
Hey, maybe he's behind all this. Being a prosecutor, he could hide the evidence. Mommy, is that the man in blue the murderer? Shh, don't stare at him.
You've got the wrong color, kid. It would seem
The inquiry committee will want to speak with you again today.
I have nothing to be ashamed of regarding my actions or their consequences. For now, let us continue the cross-examination. Poor Mr. Edgeworth, it must be so difficult for him. The time of the crime, the detective had used his card. Hold on. What was the time again? 5:14? Yeah. I want to take a quick look at this. Dude, there's... What can I do? Let's try pressing again. Earlier, I believe you testified that when you asked the man to show his ID card, he pulled a knife on you. Yes, sir. He didn't show me any ID card, sir. Don't you think that's odd? I mean, if he had his ID card, all he had to do was show it to you. There wouldn't be any reason to draw a knife. Maybe he just panicked. Everything stems from contradictions. Let's point them out. I'm confused, yeah. It's not like Edgeworth to miss something like this. You're thinking too hard about it. Come on, let's show them what we've got. All right, what do I got to give out? Let's examine the evidence again. Let's just go through it all. Goodman's ID. Does that contradict with anything here? I don't think so. That lost item report really is confusing me, man. So, unlike your earlier testimony, you believe this to be rock solid, do you? Yes, sir. Solid as stone, sir. If my hand wasn't wrapped in bandages, I'd even give you a V for victory sign. Couldn't he just use his right hand for that?
Let's hear him out. The witness can't afford to make any more mistakes.
To enter the evidence room, one must use their ID card. And his ID card was lost, though. We found it the day after, though. It could have been placed there. There's no proof, you know, like... Yeah, this is just fluff. Both the police department and the prosecutor's office can attest to this. Why would he leave it incomplete? I don't know, man. I'm trying to think of why he would leave it incomplete, but the only reason I can think of is if he found it. If whatever he lost, he found. And whatever he reported started with a 5. Whatever his lost item he was reporting starts with a 5. His ID number also starts with a 5, but then it has an 8, I believe. And this second number looks like either a 7 or a 9, but not an 8. Yeah, 5-8. Or a 4. It could be a 4, but yeah, that's definitely not an 8. At the time of the crime, the detective had used his card. But, okay, so if it wasn't the detective in the room, then he couldn't have used his card, right? Then it had to have been stolen. Let's start like this. Let's assume, let's just say for sure, like we 100% will assume that the detective Goodman was not in that room, that he didn't use his card, that therefore he didn't have his card, someone else had to. So that lost item report could be him trying to report his card, but wouldn't he report ID card instead of the number? At the time of the crime, the detective had used his ID card. No, I think you guys are onto something with the lost item report. He couldn't have used his ID card because he didn't have it! Sorry, that was loud. Wait one moment, Officer Meekins. I'm not good at waiting, sir. I have the victim's ID card right here. I found it at the crime scene.
Well, that makes sense.
When I say crime scene, I'm not referring to the evidence room at the police department. I mean the other crime scene. The underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. Your Honor, I have one more piece of evidence to present. It's a very important clue regarding the victim's ID.
A lost item report? It's only half completed.
But it shows that Detective Goodman had lost something on the day of the crime. Something important enough to fill out this report. Let me guess, you believe this something to be his ID card, right? I can't say for sure, but there is a high probability. On the day of the crime, Detective Goodman was not carrying his card.
Order! Order! So now, what's going on here?
It can only mean one thing. It doesn't require much thought. When the man Officer Meekins encountered in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman, but rather the man who stole his ID card.
Order! Order! Do the prosecution have a response?
I have only to say one thing to the defense. Bravo, Mr. Wright.
Bravo?
Allow me to summarize the defense's argument. At 5:15 on the day of the crime, the man Officer Meekins encountered in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman. There are two grounds to support this. First, the locker in the evidence room was already unlocked. Second, the victim lost his ID card. Am I correct so far, Mr. Wright? Yeah? What are you up to? That being the case, we must inevitably arrive at a single conclusion. If the victim in this video is a fake, then the murder in the evidence room is also a fake. In other words, the security camera does not show the instant of the murder. Well, I guess that's right. Something wrong, Mr. Wright? Only moments ago, you seemed to be content, pointing your finger around. This isn't good. Well. It seems you finally realized exactly what you've gone to such lengths to prove.
Well, explain yourself, Mr. Edgeworth.
The defense has already done the explaining for me. I'll connect the dots. The victim in this video is a fake, which means a murder did not take place. The police at the police department at 5:15 on the day of the crime. So the real crime could only take place at one location, the underground parking lot. At the prosecutor's office, the murderer being Miss Lana Sky, the defendant. The evidence is compelling, yes. A trustworthy witness observed the moment the defendant used the murder weapon. I knew that testimony was way too shabby. It was all a trap from the beginning. Shit!
The activity in the evidence room still leaves many unanswered questions. Who exactly was the victim Officer Meekins encountered? And where did this person disappear to? However, this trial's purpose is to examine only the murder of Detective Goodman.
Just so, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, you have to do something or else Lana... Yeah, I have to. I can't not object. One moment, Your Honor. What now, Mr. Wright? Don't tell me you're objecting to what you've just proven. Of course not, but I almost walked right into the prosecution's trap. What are you talking about? This cross-examination has proven one thing and one thing only. The security video did not show the actual murder. However, it cannot be said that this is unrelated to the murder in the parking lot. Specifically, large amounts of blood traces were found in the evidence room. The defense demands further examination into the truth of this matter.
Mr. Edgeworth,
Yes, Your Honor.
if the court were to examine this further, other witnesses would be necessary. Is the prosecution prepared?
I am sorry, Your Honor. The prosecution considers the incident at the police department to be unrelated. We have not prepared any other witnesses for this incident. This just might be my chance. Time to call a certain Texas Ranger to the stand. Mr. Wright, do you mean? Your Honor, the defense would like to request a specific witness.
Oh, who do you have in mind?
Someone we have reason to believe knows the truth. The truth behind the activities that took place in the evidence room. The prosecution requests to hear this person's name before deciding whether or not to comply.
Very well then, Mr. Wright. This person with whom you would have testify, what is his or her name?
I call for friggin' Jake. It's Jake. Why him? I can't let him know everything just yet. He's in charge of the evidence room. I feel like we should hear what he has to say. The prosecution agrees to the defense's request. Since he was responsible for guarding the room, we should hear his testimony. Fortunately, he works in the police department. We shouldn't need longer than 20 minutes to prepare.
Very well. The court will take a 30-minute recess while the witness is subpoenaed. Will the prosecution please prepare the witness during this time?
We will, Your Honor.
Court is in recess.
Woo! Skin of my teeth! Damn. February 24th, 11:32 a.m. District Court Defendant Lobby Number 2. There's no stopping you, is there, Mr. Wright? Huh? What do you mean? You called for Jake Marshall. It seems you figured everything out. What? Yo, she knows everything already? Just tell me, girl! Just tell me, girl! I haven't figured out anything, actually. Lana, you're the one who knows everything. Emma, you always know everything. Why don't you just tell us? Mr. Wright is trying his hardest to protect you. I don't recall ever asking for his protection. How can you be so cold? Don't you trust us? Don't you trust me? Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, yes I am. I'll come back later. Whoa, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run around while on duty. And to top it all off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. Sorry, detective. You better be, pal. Hey. Hey! I didn't see you there, Miss Sky. That's okay. So, have you brought what I asked? Yeah, You mean this, right? My apologies, detective. Due to my present circumstances, I was forced to use Mr. Wright's name when making my request. My name? Never in a million years would I have thought it was you who asked me. Could I bother you to bring me the SL9 incident files? I'll need them by noon. Talk about crazy. The SL9 incident? But Lana, I thought Mr. Wright might need them, so I had them brought here. You might do well to read them. I can't believe you. The chief prosecutor would have witnessed in this case. This guy was a witness? What? Received the file of the SL9. Take it from me, you don't want anything to do with serial murderers. Oh, what? Now that I brought you your stuff, you just gonna ignore me? Emma, but why? Why is your name in here? What? My name's in there? I don't know. Unless... No, it couldn't be. Lana, this SL9 incident... Is that... Shit. That's the classification number the police filed it under. 2 years ago, the rest of the world knew it as... the Joe Dark killings. The Joe Dark? No, Lana! That's over with! No! Oh shit, she just fainted. Oh, she ran away. You know what? I just remembered I gotta be somewheres. Sorry, pal, but I'm out of here. Jake Marshall, Angel Starr, Damon Gant, Miles Edgeworth, all the names are in here. Not to mention Lana and Emma. Everyone involved in this case is connected to those killings 2 years ago. This can't be just a coincidence. Knowing you just might be able to figure it out, boy. Time to get back to the trial, Mr. Wright. Best of luck. I'd better take a good look at this file. Dude. I'm so happy we finally have some details about the SL9. That's so cool! So cool. Sugoi. Yo. Have you or a loved one you know been diagnosed with... Just subscribe. Just do it. Please.